Welcome to Subramani. Recently, I had a meeting with a friend and his wife, and it led to a very interesting conversation. So, his wife wanted to buy some jewelry for about 15 lakhs or maybe 20 lakhs. There was no great occasion or anything, but she wanted to buy that jewelry. And my friend said, would I go and buy that kind of jewelry, removing money from my portfolio? Is it as a percentage of his portfolio? It is not really much, and as a percentage of his total net worth, including his house, etc., it is really not a very significant amount. But would he want to sell some shares and buy jewelry for his wife worth even say 0.5% of his portfolio or 1% of his portfolio? Extremely doubtful. And even his wife was, I'm not very sure whether she was serious about it. She just spoke about it in passing, and that was at the beginning of the conversation. We had met for lunch, and it was a longish 2-3 hour kind of lunch. And so the question to ask is, would I go and buy, now putting myself in his position, would I go and buy myself a new Canon camera, say Canon R3 mirrorless, which costs approximately 5 lakhs of rupees? And would I go and buy it? Can I afford it? The question is not whether I can afford it, the question is whether I justify it. Whether I myself think that I take photographs worth using a camera of that price, or is it just an ego kick that I want to buy an R3 because somebody else has bought? Is it peer pressure? Is it looking at somebody else clicking some 20 frames per second or 10 frames per second and saying, my god, my camera is not that fast, I need it? Is it peer pressure? Is it greed? Is it what? I don't know, right? So same thing for my friend's wife. And would she want to buy that jewelry? Why would she want to buy that jewelry? Maybe vanity, maybe greed, maybe peer pressure, any of those things. So my friend and I were in a conversation when he said, Subra, I recently lost 10 lakhs in a cryptocurrency deal. And I almost burst out laughing, A, because he can afford to take that loss, and B, because we have discussed a lot about cryptocurrencies, and we had decided that we will never enter that, simply not because you don't make money. Of course, a lot of people may be making money, but because we don't understand it, right? So that is good enough reason why we should not be entering something which we don't understand. So why did he do a cryptocurrency deal worth about 20 lakhs? 2-3 things. One, like he said later on, we all knew this would go wrong, right? So he shouldn't have entered. But there is always this greed to put a small portion at least of your money and say, let me check out how this works, because there are some experiments which actually work. For example, I do not invest in companies which are based out of Hyderabad. Largely, I have not made money from those companies and I am not comfortable. But recently, I bought GMR Infra or GMR Airports, and I made money, right? So sometimes you have your rules, you still break your rules, you make money, then you start questioning the rules, whether those rules should be there or no. Well, he bought some cryptocurrency, and in about less than a month or 45 days, he lost 60% or 50%, and then decided there to come out of it, and he came out of it. So his total loss was about 10 lakhs of rupees. Like I said, he can afford that loss. The question is, could he have bought jewelry for his wife for 10 lakhs? The answer is no. But he has lost that money in the market. So similarly, could I have bought this camera, say Canon R3 for 5 lakhs? Can I afford it? Yes, of course I can afford it. But the question is, do I need it? The answer is no, I do not need it. My photographs just do not do justification even for a simple Canon R entry level camera. But then there is always this greed and peer pressure, so for us to buy. So the question is, what happened to him? Well, he was sitting in a group. This friend of mine was sitting in a group where everybody was dealing with crypto. So in one of those guys had said that he had made 10x the money in crypto, which is a huge temptation. So even though you have logic working in your head, you know you have friends who will tell you not to invest, you have your very close circle, what I would call your investing circle, telling you not to invest, but you still go and put some small money and come. So his logic is, he says, I knew this was a bad deal. We have discussed about it. We have said we will not invest in crypto, and still, in spite of this, and he's not young, right? He's 48, 49, younger than me, yes, but he's not very young. So when, in spite of all these things, he still fell to peer pressure and greed, right? So it's very difficult. Even we know all these are things which happen, but we still, I recently lost money in Z, which I knew was bad management, but there was this feeling that Disney would take it over, or Sony would take it over, or in a worst case scenario Jio would take it over, somewhere that thing. But you know, basically you're going against your grain of saying this is bad quality management, they've got into a mess, they have got into infrastructure which is pulling them down, blah blah blah, you know all that, but still the temptation at 220 or something was to say, Z is at 220 is not so bad. Ultimately it used to be 280 and etc etc, and it was projected to go to 800, so it can't be too bad at this price. You made money in this share in the past. I must have made a lot of money in this share in the past in trading. So is it a good company to invest? I am not even getting into that. I am saying after the event happens, it is easy to say, oh God, I knew that I shouldn't have entered crypto. Oh my God, I knew I shouldn't have bought GMR. Oh my God, I knew I shouldn't have bought Z. So recently I sold Z and I lost, 5 lakhs, which is a Canon R3. So the question is, it's not as though you do not know, you know it, but you still are under peer pressure. 4 brokers calling you and saying something big is happening in Z. You know you shouldn't fall to these calls, you know, but then you call up 2-3 other people, yeah, something is happening, the family is getting rid of it, so therefore it's going to be taken over by Sony, by Disney, by Jio, something like that, and then in that one weak moment you fall. Right, so it is not as though you didn't know. Saraswati had done the job, but Parvati, the goddess of wisdom, did not hold your hand back and say, idiot, you know this, Saraswati has told you, why are you still doing it? So somewhere that gap, is taken over by greed and peer pressure, saying everybody is buying it, it can't be wrong, this broker can't be wrong, that broker can't be wrong, so let me also buy it. Oh, it's fallen to 176, let's average. But I recently got out at about 200 and I lost a packet. Yes, I could have bought a Canon R3 with that. So the important lesson is, even for experienced people, what really happens is suddenly people wake up and say, oh my God, this is wrong, ultimately this should not have been done, the cash flows do not justify the price, right? Oh, the ad revenues are falling in television, didn't you know that Z will produce bad results because the ad revenues are falling? All the advertisement is going to OTT. Don't you see that you don't switch on the television, or even if you do switch on the television, it is to watch some OTT? It is not really to watch some channels. When was the last time you watched a channel other than cricket or something like that? We have shifted to, so it's all visible. But why was it not visible when Z was 224? I have no clue, right? So these kind of things do happen. We make mistakes. Greed takes over, peer pressure takes over. Arey Subra, you're not in crypto. How come you're not in crypto? So your group of 5 people, 4 of them already put money in crypto. They're all claiming that they made 100% in a year, 200% in a year, 1000% in 2 years, whatever. All those big numbers, and suddenly you say, okay, how much can I lose if I put 20 lakhs? Maximum I can lose is 10 lakhs because by the time I'll come out. So can I take a 10 lakh rupee risk? Yes, but was it risk or was it stupidity? It's very difficult to find out, because there are some times when you break some of your rules and make money. So am I saying that I will never again lose money? No, I'm not saying that. Somewhere greed, peer pressure, something will take over. All the friends will call up and say, are you mad? Why are you not buying this? And then you start looking, you read your rules, you talk to people in the field and you say, oh, it's not too bad. Let me put some money. So you keep looking at things and saying, okay, when will I learn? I don't know when we will learn, because when Galileo said the world is round, or India said it is Bhugol, people didn't accept it. People accepted it much later. So similarly, when a company is overvalued, you can be overvalued for a long period of time. Anil Ambani, I still remember Anil Ambani group of companies. I never touched it. I thought the cash flow never justified the market cap, so I never touched it. I never made money, nor did I make any losses. For me, cash flow was very important, and there was not enough cash flow for me to buy any of the shares. Even Reliance Nippon Mutual Fund, I wouldn't touch it till ADAG Group got out of it. So some of those rules I made, I stuck to it, but some of the rules you yourself break, and you then look at the logic and say, what is the logic in this price being so high? But you can't really spit against the wind. The problem is we all make mistakes, and then the market wakes up together. That is the problem. It's like, people come in. It's like I keep saying, this is like a theater. People come in one at a time, and the movie is on. People may come late, people may come on time. It doesn't really matter. But when the movie is over, everybody leaves. So we all went and bought cryptocurrency, and then we all lost money in cryptocurrency. So somebody entered early and they lost less. Somebody entered late and they lost more. So that is a fact of life, right? So you have to have tremendous amount of discipline, or the set of rules, or saying, unless these two people clear it, one is my wife and one is my friend, unless both these people clear it, and I have and my wife knows these are the rules of investing, so she will check and say, is this true, is this true, is this company really well managed, are you happy with the choice of auditor, are you happy with the board of directors? Some simplified questions. If she asks those questions and you say yes, then you talk to another friend who asks more difficult questions. Is the free cash flow really justified? Will it really make free cash flow this year? Right? So the question is these questions also. Then slowly you come out of it and buy. But yes, we will continue to make mistakes, and we should laugh at it. And we know that we will make mistakes, and we know that when we enter the transaction, we know there is risk. We know that you could lose money, and therefore you say, okay, I entered cryptocurrency with 20 lakhs and at 10 lakhs I decided that's enough. I can afford to lose 20 lakhs, but I decided that 10 lakhs is the loss that I want to take in it. So the question is, will you go and splurge money on a luxury product? Maybe no. Will you lose more than that in single transactions in the equity market? I will. So how do you explain all this? Because ultimately a 5 lakh loss is a 5 lakh loss. Whether it is 5 lakh for buying a luxury item which you may not be able to justify the usage, or whether you buy a share and lose 5 lakhs. It's the same 5 lakhs. Out of your net worth, 5 lakhs is gone. How do you reconcile all this? That is a challenge in investing and in life. Thank you. So what did I learn from my experience in Z? Right, ultimately you make money, but there has to be some learning also. So what did I really learn from this? Really not much. I knew I shouldn't have done it. So I think before I go and do something like this next time, I will go and splurge some money, saying, okay, itna to paisa maine bacha liya. So I'll go and buy myself a nice good camera with nice good chip. Even those chips are so expensive, considering that if you want fast chips, they cost you a few thousands. The question is, I'll indulge myself and say, okay, if I had put this money in Z, I would have lost more. So I put only 20 lakhs in Z instead of 25 lakhs. That 5 lakhs is here sitting with me, nice camera, and hopefully I will use it better. Thank you.